Captain Forest here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over both these combatants to see who'd win more often not in a cross-verse situation, Captain Atom versus Silver Surfer. Now if you guys are new to my channel, please leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for further content. Also, huge shout out to the HQ squad, shout out to the Crusaders, much appreciated to the team. Huge shout out to Korin O'Keefe, he was a massive help with the Silver Surfer section, so much appreciated to him. Before you guys start asking, yes, I'm going to be doing a more in-depth analysis and in-depth video on this topic. I know I made a shorts on it, but I don't think I covered enough in that shorts to explain my point, because obviously shorts are pretty fast. But regardless, I'm going to document it all in this video. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about Silver Surfer and see what he brings to the table. We'll talk about all his cool stats and abilities and just a little bit about him. The Silver Surfer is one of the noblest and most tormented cosmic entities in the universe. The Silver Surfer treasures freedom above all else, has often sacrificed his liberty for the greater good. He was born under the name Norin Rad on the planet Zenla, part of a extremely long-lived and technologically advanced humanoid race which had created a worldwide utopia devoid of crime, disease, hunger, poverty, and want of any kind. To save their planet's peaceful existence at the hands of Galactus, the devourer of worlds, Norin Rad was forced to agree to Galactus's conditions that Norin will serve him for all of eternity. Given a fraction of the power cosmic, Norin was transformed into the Silver Surfer, the herald of Galactus. I am not a god, I have never created life, but I have lived, that is enough, so I will fight to preserve the same opportunity to love, to dream, to soar among the stars for all those yet to come. Many lives will be lost in the battle ahead, but their efforts will ensure that some remain to remember their deeds, and like the gods, they will truly live forever, even after they are gone. When it comes to attack power, the Silver Surfer is certainly not lacking. We've seen Surfer fight the God of Thunder on relatively even terms, though Surfer in this fight was clearly mostly just trying to talk to Thor, whilst Thor wasn't having any of it. The Silver Badass fought against Hulk and the Warbound. A weakened Surfer under the control of a disc that removes his own will dominates the fight. He's able to knock Hulk back and display impressive combat skill against the Warbound. He only got beaten down once the disc broke and he lost the need to fight. Even then, he survives Hulk's rage. Surfer suffered no lasting damage. They have a little friendly chat after the fight when Surfer even offers to take Hulk home. Heck, this dude is capable of activating a device that was keyed to Thanos' level of power while in an extremely weakened state. Surfer is a peaceful character in general who prefers to avoid murdering randos. Surfer explicitly notes of collateral damage and the fact his hits may endanger human lives, and doesn't use an attack despite it being a fatal situation for him. Iron Man notes that Surfer likely held back his blows, also notes that he was staggered by Iron Man's hit yet unaffected. Surfer willingly took multiple hits from Dr. Minerva and Captain Atlas before getting sick of it at the point he one-shot Atlas. Silver Surfer manages to hold off the Griever at the end of all things for 16 minutes and 4 seconds. The Griever praised Surfer, stating that there aren't many in the universe who could replicate such a feat. Griever states herself, 16 minutes and 4 seconds. That's how long you alone held off the end of the universe. You've earned my respect, Norin Rad. There are precious few who could have achieved such a feat. The Griever at the end of all things, also referred to as simply Griever, is an abstract entity who embodies the very concept of entropy and the end of all existence and possibility. She is the inevitable end of all that is and ever will be. Griever was stated to be the greatest threat the Marvel multiverse has ever faced, which would place her above the Chaos King and the Beyonders. So that's some pretty good, impressive stuff for Surfer. That's going to round up his AP and explain in more detail where he would range in my analysis. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the Silver Surfer's speed. For starters, Surfer was able to casually fly through higher layers of reality, dimensions, all the way to the 15,000th dimension. Flying through higher dimensions, 5D or higher, would be immeasurable speed. So here Surfer would have at least 14,995 layers of immeasurable speed. Bonus points for Surfer, looking like he took no effect to do this feat. Very impressive speed feat for Surfer. However, there is more. Surfer is regarded as the best hope of all heroes in the Infinity Gauntlet story, being able to move fast enough to exploit Thanos dropping his guard for a moment. It's even implied that Thanos needed to use the gauntlet to dodge Surfer. Silver Surfer has time traveled on many occasions, the best of which is in Silver Surfer 2014, where Silver Surfer outran the Death of Eternity. This is not just Surfer traveling back in time, but Surfer does this while also flying outside of eternity. This would mean that the level of irrelevant speed that you would need to travel across and outside of eternity would literally have to be measurably faster than that. Further supporting this is that Surfer was ending in a stream outside of eternity and could see the new doom possessed eternity. 2015's Secret Wars was an expansive event, quite literally reaching every corner of eternity. With the collapse of the multiverse, it was nearly impossible to escape this seminal Marvel event. As you can see, Surfer is pretty freaking fast, to say the least. But I'm sure you're wondering, what does Silver Surfer have to bring to the table in terms of hacks? The Silver Surfer has phenomenal sensory capabilities and cosmic awareness. He can sense the emotions in beings such as love, greed, fear, etc. So he doesn't only have to sense energy to know where you are. Surfer can sense the weakness in a person using his cosmic awareness. His cosmic awareness allows him to comprehend rules of the universe others would find incomprehensible. We've seen Surfer sense a strange new energy type and then near immediately determines what it is and where it's located. Surfer is capable of tracking a grain of space dust through the endless cosmos. His cosmic senses can detect life forms and determine their abilities as well. Heck, thanks to his cosmic senses, Surfer had ample time to know and learn everything the Earth has to offer. Everything. The Silver Surfer is capable of also destroying souls. Surfer can reflect a blast from all of the Infinity Stones at once. In this comic, the Elders were trying to kill Galactus by using the Infinity Stones, and Surfer was able to reflect this blast intended to kill Galactus. This means that Silver Surfer is capable of utilizing an impressive ability known as Attack Reflection. Attack Reflection is the explicit ability to turn one's opponent's attack against them. This is a rather powerful ability, being able to perform offense and defense simultaneously by effectively turning one's efforts against them. How it works usually depends on the user. Some may absorb the attack and then send it back. Others may manipulate the vectors in order to send the attack back from where it came from. Powerful users of telekinesis are usually able to reflect many different kinds of attacks aimed against them. This is not to be confused with one using another power against them, as that is simply trickery rather than the ability tailored to reflecting incoming attacks. Moving on, we've seen Surfer fight a bannerless Hulk and showcase very impressive energy absorption tactics. Surfer was mostly trying to talk to Hulk and was trying to talk him down, and at that point nearly kills Hulk by draining his gamma radiation, which is pretty impressive. We've seen Surfer fight a clone who was a near equal, and this very same Surfer eventually defeats the clone by absorbing all of its energies into himself. We've seen this silver skinned badass defeat Crossicus, whose natural ability is to absorb energy. Crossicus absorbed the Uni power and was significantly amped. The Surfer defeats him by overloading him with the power cosmic. But if you think all of this is impressive, man, you haven't seen anything yet. This dude purged the idea of Zenla across eternity. Yep, he erased the culture of an entire planet on a conceptual level. Surfer is also capable of stealing your speed by nullifying the kinetic energy of your molecules to zero, removing vibrations and sound itself. Surfer has showcased fate manipulation as well as resistance to fate manipulation itself. In Silver Surfer Volume 7, Issue 11, Surfer was stuck in an infinite time loop from which he could not escape. Then the Never Queen contacted him and said this: "Surfer, if only you could hear me. There is a way out of this endless path. Exert your free will. Grab hold of all you accept as real, and then reach beyond. Be the one who turns this page in the story of your life." A choice has been made, and with it, new pathways have been revealed, with new tolls that must be paid. You know what must be done, Noringrad. Cast aside all else, create a new possibility, will it into being. So that's going to round up Silver Surfer. I'm going to go ahead and talk about Captain Atom to see what he brings to the table. It was stated by the Fates that Captain Atom is the most powerful superhero on Earth next to Superman, Wonder Woman and Shazam. This has been stated by the narrator as well, that Captain Atom and Superman are the most powerful weapons. In Doomsday Clock, Captain Atom performs a feat where he erupts and causes an area effect. This feat can be used to scale him to or potentially above the Justice League during that time period. Now this feat, in terms of trying to scale it to Dr. Manhattan, I wouldn't go down this route, and I doubt this feat would scale to Dr. Manhattan, as there is a lot of context. Dr. Manhattan, during the fight with the superheroes, was curious and began to observe and casually neutralize the attacks from the heroes. Dr. Manhattan was allowing them to hit him out of curiosity and interest. Dr. Manhattan proceeds to then one-shot everyone, demonstrating that they are no match for him. And lastly, in post-crisis, Captain Atom has shown to break out of Hal Jordan's Green Lantern constructs. So right off the bat, we have some decent mid, possibly full-on creation level scaling for Captain Atom. Now as for speed, he would also scale to some of the other members of the Justice League. Captain Atom himself would have immeasurable to irrelevant speed. I've gone over the speed meta for DC characters on a number of occasions on this channel. For more insight, please check out some of my other DC matchups on the channel where I go into more detail. So that's going to round up Captain Atom's stats. I'm going to go ahead and move on to his abilities and powers and etc. Now Captain Atom has access to the quantum field, which gives him his stats and hexes. His quantum powers allow him to use matter manipulation and transmutation. He has demonstrated to turn lava into snow and has shown to control things down to a molecular level. He was able to affect a tank's molecular structure and turn it into water. He can casually turn bullets into air. He can project energy blasts from his hands to attack his opponents. And Captain Atom has also shown to have energy absorption, as he was able to absorb energy and has shown to absorb a nuclear blast, showing he can absorb things down to the atomic if not subatomic level. Captain Atom has shown to absorb other versions of himself to become stronger, and Captain Atom has shown to split his body into multiple versions of himself. Now lastly, Captain Atom has shown to regenerate from just a puddle of goop on the ground. He has also shown to heal others too. So that's going to round up both these combatants. I'm going to go ahead and talk about who I think wins more often than not in a cross-verse situation. Okay, in terms of AP and speed, I'm going to go over it really quickly on who I think takes these categories more often than not. Now when we look at Captain Atom, he does have some pretty decent small creation level scaling, some Altiversal Plus, high Altiversal Plus scaling, potentially boundless. However, when we look at Silver Surfer's AP scaling, I just think it's just vastly above a lot of those feats that Captain Atom has shown. In fact, he scales a lot higher than him. You could even argue cosmologically, depending on how you scale Marvel. Easily has high Altiversal Plus, Boundless Plus, in fact just transcending Boundless altogether, if not 1S scaling Extraversal, especially his fight against the Griever. That's really some insane scaling right there. So I think in terms of AP, I do have to lean more so with Silver Surfer. He just has more working in the ballpark of AP. And even if we was to be fair and do caps and just say, okay, high Altiversal cap or just Boundless cap, just Surfer just scales way too high into the tier, unfortunately, for Captain Atom in that regard. Now speed, it's very circumstantial. I think people really sleep on Silver Surfer's speed. They only think he's immeasurable. He's actually a lot faster than people give him credit for. He easily reaches the immeasurable to irrelevant speed scaling and a lot of layers into the tier. So just depending on how the flow of the fight goes, I think Captain Atom will have the slight speed edge at first. Once Silver Surfer stops suppressing himself and he starts trying to fight more serious, he's literally going to blitz him. But just way too many layers into the tier. I think Surfer's definitely going to utilize his stats a lot more in a serious encounter, so it just depends on how the fight goes. I think Surfer would just edge out more in those categories. Now win cons, Captain Atom has some pretty decent win cons. He has transmutation, molecular, you know, manipulation. He can like affect your molecules, he can transmutate things, he can absorb things, very impressive abilities and other jazz. AoE, you know, subatomic destruction. I don't really think that's going to really be a game changer. Surfer is no stranger to any of those type of tactics and elemental abilities and materialistic abilities. Literally, Surfer has come back from just being turned to snow. He's resisted a lot of crazy things, and he just come back regardless. He's literally able to just come back and just reform his body. He has like full perfect control over his structure, especially with the power cosmic. He just has way too many resistances and counters for Captain Atom. When it comes to the energy absorption, I really don't think that's going to help Captain Atom that much, especially Surfer is no stranger to that. In fact, Surfer was able to absorb a counterpart of himself. He was able to absorb Hulk's gamma energy, transform him back to Banner, and he's been up against a guy with the uni power and just filled his ass up like a bucket full of water, and he overwhelmed him. So I just see him overloading Captain Atom to the point where Captain Atom will literally just disperse into little pieces and fragments. So that's going to be an issue. And of course, if Surfer really wants to, he could just absorb Captain Atom into him, absorb the quantum field, and that would be a big massive disadvantage for Captain Atom. That'd actually be very counterintuitive for Captain Atom if he tried to absorb Surfer, or if Surfer tried to absorb him, that'd be a huge issue. He'd just all be up in Surfer. Pause. But anyway, Surfer also has more advantages. He has his precognition, he has cosmic awareness, info analysis. It literally pinpoints and helps him in combat. It kind of works like the wisdom of Solomon in a way, but it's on a more cosmic level. It definitely will help him against Captain Atom. He's going to figure out what Captain Atom is about, how his powers work, what he's about, what is his weaknesses, and Surfer will capitalize on that little weakness, and you definitely make short works of Captain Atom very easily. Now, Surfer, as I've mentioned, he has some nasty hexes as well. If Surfer really wants to get ratchet with a bitch, he will get ratchet. He has existence erasure on a conceptual level, so if he truly wants to go down that route, if Captain Atom is really trying to test Surfer's gangster, he could just erase Captain Atom from existence on a conceptual level. I think that'd be a huge game changer as well. But more often than not, I have to give victory to Silver Surfer. I think Surfer just has way too many advantages, way too many counters, higher AP, higher speed, better stats, and just overall just has many ways to dispatch off Captain Atom, unfortunately. And even if this was an equal stats situation, I would still give victory to Surfer with high difficulty. Again, too many resistances, and his hexes will be able to put down and ultimately defeat Captain Atom. So those are my thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below. But yes, it's been real. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.